Welcome to the Commercial Real Estate Investing from A to Z podcast, named one of the best commercial real estate podcasts by Business Insider. I'm your host, Steph Boldrini. We review all aspects of commercial real estate investing and bring the top people in the industry to share their best tips and lessons learned. And in today's episode, I will be talking about my second syndication and how it came all about. I'll share this because I think it's important for everyone to understand that it's not an overnight success and it's not an overnight thing to get great partners. So I met my partner for this syndication 6 years ago at the Real Estate Guys Summit at Sea. And I have mentioned this here before, but the expensive events are the best ones because everyone there is serious about real estate investing. They are veterans in the industry and they want to meet others like them. Simple as that. Most veterans do not want to go to a rookie event that costs $300 because most attendees there are very early in their careers, and most won't even end up, investing in real estate or even working in real estate part-time or full-time. So it's kind of a waste of time. This was the very first real estate event that I attended. And my goal was to meet all 200 investors and operators there. And I ended up meeting almost everyone. I exchanged business cards with them and started building relationships by inviting people to be on my podcast. I started a quarterly cash flow game session with attendees that lived in the Bay Area so we could build relationships in person. And cash flow is a really good real estate game that I highly recommend everyone playing. It really does get your brain thinking in many different directions in terms of partnerships the more you play the game. I just want to iterate the fact that partnerships will not come from meeting people once and thinking that something will come out of it without putting any effort. And I see this all the time. People will forget that you exist even though they may have had a great time at the event with you. And as far as this partner for this opportunity, he lived in the Bay Area and he had been doing real estate investing for over 2 decades. And in fact, I attended one of his table talks at the cruise where we met. So took a lot of notes and, looked up to him in this case. And when we came back from the summit, I sent him an email inviting him to be on my podcast and he never answered. And I believe there was one more email that he didn't answer, but it really wasn't until the next year's Summit at Sea that some of us went to dinner one night and I managed to talk to him a little bit longer. And that is when he started answering my emails and I started inviting him to get-togethers that I was doing. And then we became friends and started going for lunch, dinner, talking about real estate. He started inviting me for events that he was hosting and we became really good friends over time. And I personally think it's really important to build these relationships over time because you not only get to hear their stories around real estate investing and learn from them, and also, of course, you get to show them what you believe in and how you are managing your deals. And also you get to see them in the real world deal with different situations that come up and how they react to unexpected things. And how do they talk about people when they're not in the room? And of course, they'll do the same with you. And as far as my partner, I learned that he had been through a few bad partnerships. And I learned that his investors are incredibly important to him and he will go out of his way to make a deal that may have gone in the wrong direction right as much as possible. And this is very important to me because investors' money are way more important than my own money. I genuinely get anxious when I know I have to raise for a deal. And I want to be 100% sure that nothing will ever go wrong, which we cannot guarantee, and nobody can. And so That partner had spent an enormous amount of money on a deal with a partner that went wrong. The partner basically took most of the profits on a deal, and so he had to hire attorneys in several different states to get the investor's money. And that expense is not returned because the investor's money are the investor's money, so he cannot even expense that. And so that is really great to see because that is really important to me. And to put this in perspective, I personally know really nice people in the industry that lost investors' money and they basically couldn't care less. They basically said, there is a risk to everything. I would never partner up with them in a million years, even though they are really nice people. And so over time, as you build this friendship, you get to see not only all of this, but you also get to see how they treat other people in his personal life, how this person talks to them, how they appreciate life or many other things. And my partner checked all of these boxes as far as character goes. And so now I'm going to move into how did this opportunity came along. So one day, out of the blue, after 6 years of knowing each other, he asks me if I want to help him out on a deal that came across his table. And at that point, I was completely busy working on my other opportunities, and I almost said no, but I thought it would be a really good opportunity that actually aligned with my goals, and also to see how well we would work together. I had absolutely zero expectations. I said, sure, let's do it. And I think that was really important. We also didn't even discuss compensation at that point. He had done real estate a couple more decades than I had. And so I didn't think it was the right thing to talk about splits at that point, especially because he hadn't seen my work. And I was okay with that. I went in without knowing if it was going to be worth my time, but I knew that it was going to be worth my time. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I also knew this person's character and I knew that he would make the right choices. And so I'm not sure if this is the right or the wrong decision, but this also gave me the opportunity to show the quality of my work and to see what happens. And I honestly think if I had brought up compensation at first, it would have been a lot less than what ended up happening. I don't think he had any particular splits in mind, mostly because we had to hit the ground running really, really fast because the due diligence period was pretty short. Short in my opinion, because apparently some people were doing due diligence in 2 weeks or less for this kind of deal. So the result, I had a ton of fun working with such a great partner. This opportunity was in an asset class that I hadn't worked on before that requires even more due diligence than self-storage because there are a lot more moving parts to it. And it was really great to work with somebody that obviously had done this before for that asset class and to see how diligent they are and to see our strengths work together really, really well. Was it 100% bliss all the time? Of course not, but 99% of the time it was, and that to me is better than anything else. And so we balanced each other very well with our strengths. My partner was very tough with a couple of people, and towards the end I was telling him how I admired that he was tough on some people, and he said, actually, I think that you are tougher than me. And so in areas that one of us maybe didn't feel comfortable pushing certain people, the other was. And that was a really good balance. So regarding splits, it was only a couple of weeks before closing when we were finalizing the PPM documents. And as a side note, for those who may not know, PPMs are private placement memorandums. They are the legal documents that we send to our investors with all of the details and risks and etc. about the deal. So it wasn't until then that he brought up the compensation conversation. And he ended up proposing a very generous split. It was so generous that I told him that this is not right and that he should keep more. Then he gave himself a little bit more and he said, "What do you think about this? I hope you don't think I'm too greedy." And I said, "Please do not ever say that word because you were already so generous with your initial proposal. Thank you so much for this opportunity." I want to reiterate the fact here too, when we were on site doing our due diligence, which were very long days. My partner has a ton of energy. We met everybody that we could meet in town. I wanted to make sure that I asked him, where could I have done better? Did I say anything that I shouldn't have said? I wanted feedback so that I could get better. Well, thankfully, there was no feedback so far. But I think also that it is very important to continue to be humble and grow, because really not everybody does that. And so many people want to get in these big deals, but they're not thinking and acting like somebody that should be working in these deals. And I think that is really important to get feedback from other people, because a lot of times we don't see ourselves, or we were not experienced in certain situations, and some people just don't know how to act. And then they expect to be part of something big when they are not ready for it. And so at the end of the day, why do I think that he was so generous on the splits? First, his character has always been to do the right thing. So I provided the value to deserve it. And he also said that, I was on top of everything, how thankful he was, and that during the due diligence, we all had really good questions to ask and things like that. So in hindsight, it was actually a really good idea to not talk about splits, because I really think it would be smaller had I not proven myself. And so the result, well, first, the actual result will be when we exit this deal in 2 to 3 years. And of course, I will update all of you guys by then. Of course, also, no deal is perfect. There is always something there is always hair in every single deal. And so we all do take risks in real estate, as you all know. But the result so far is that we did the webinar on this opportunity and we were fully committed after 2 hours of the webinar. Thank God. And we also managed, right after the end of the webinar, we managed to get another $100,000 discount on the deal. And we haven't even given the great news to the investors yet. So I am not saying any of this to toot my own horn at all. I am only sharing this because I think it's important for people to not be money hungry and to trust the process and to be the best that you can ever be, and to also trust the person that you are dealing with. And of course, you must also be great at what you do. You cannot expect anything if you're not excellent. If you don't trust the person that you're dealing with and, you move forward anyway, that will go under the lessons learned folder and you just won't do it again. My parting thoughts for this episode are, number 1, there aren't too many great people out there. It is very easy to stand out, even if you are 20 years old and you're just getting started. Opportunities will come to you if you do the right thing and you're around the right people and you provide something of value. I don't know if I shared this with you guys before, but a 20-year-old came to me offering to help me wherever I needed help with. I gave him some projects and he did a phenomenal job. I would partner up with him any day of the week. Why? Because I saw his character in many different scenarios over time. He is already a very busy entrepreneur, and he made time to help me because he wanted to learn about commercial, even though he already knows some things, and he also did a great job. Number 2, people will come to my partner on this deal all the time wanting to partner up with him. Most of these people don't even bother to build a relationship. They literally come out of the blue, or they are introduced by somebody else, and then they say, let's partner up on this deal, or I want to have a long-term partnership with you. People even come to me saying things like that. And I tell them, I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you in different situations. I don't know what you stand for. Of course, this is an absolutely not. And when I say to these people, you just need to build a relationship with me. So why don't we just get to know each other over time? And I don't ever hear back from these people. And so that is why I say that is super easy to stand out. Follow up, build relationship, provide something of value, and all of these things will come to you. I hope this was very helpful to you guys. I literally record these things staring at my laptop, and I don't get to see your reaction. So I would really appreciate if you sent me an email to let me know how, these podcasts are going. If there is anything that you want us to cover, please let us know. Send us an email at admin@montecarlorei.com, and I will see you next time.